So I'm going to be reading from The Good Book, my autobiography by Sir Alex Ferguson. What has Britain's greatest ever football manager got to teach us about love and relationships? Well, actually, I think you'll find Sir Alex can teach us a lot about teamwork, psychology, and commitment. In Alex's own words, I'm not going to do yet. In my early years in Aberdeen and Man United, I decided right away that in order to build trust and loyalty with the players, I had to give it to them first. That is the starting point on which great institutions thrive. And on happy relationships, Sir Alex says, don't seek confrontation. Don't look for it because you can be sure it will come your way. If you seek a clash, the player is placed in a counter-attacking role, which gives them an advantage. Now, strong relationships is also about being attuned to one another, as I believe Sir Alex was alluding to in this step of the passage. I was helped in my ability to observe. Some people walk into a room and don't notice anything at all. Use your eyes, it's all out there. I use this skill in my assessments of players' training habits, moods and behaviours. Finally, Sir Alex teaches us about commitment and achieving results through thick and thin. Even the best laid plans take unexpected turns. We are all members of a trade where circumstances can suddenly change, all out of recognition. The important part is that we keep our pride intact and begin afresh. There's a great deal of sacrifice involved, but the reward is the satisfaction you feel when the results work out. Pat and Chloe, we all wish you 26 triumphant seasons together. And Chloe, with your careful management, I believe you can really bring the best out of your player. Congratulations, we love you very much.
And you've made another good decision Patrick. Even if he is a Man United supporter. Patrick, look after my little sister. Chloe's nephew Roman has said, I knew you were meant to be together, and I miss you. Kira, her niece, says, happy wedding, I miss you, that's it. And last but not least, Annika, who says, you should get a cat. Hopefully you can come and visit us soon and meet Pumpkin, Oggy and Turbo, who are cats. In fact, you might imagine it was something of a gamble whether the events of today would happen at all with the pandemic and all the COVID rules that have applied over the last 18 months. But the gamble's paid off, and here we all are.
Way!
So let me firstly thank the bridesmaids, Laura, Grace, Kathy and Amelia, and last but not least, the maid of honour, Natalie, who deserves a special mention, having organised not one, but 2 hen nights. I'd like you to raise your glasses and toast the maid of honour and bridesmaids. Let me now turn to my beautiful daughter, who I have to say looks stunning in a wedding dress. When Chloe was born, my lovely wife Marie and I already had 2 boys, so having a girl was a perfect addition to the family. However, she wasn't alone. She had a twin brother, Liam. The contrast between 2 children has never been more clear than in those early years. Chloe was the happy, cheerful child who could amuse herself for hours, whereas Liam, well, enough said. Fortunately, he took her out of it. However, being the only girl, she has a special place in our hearts. But we've tried to treat all of our children equally, despite Chloe being a daddy's girl. She was a very happy child from birth through to teenage years. Bright, hard-working, with a competitive streak, being a keen participant in sports and games. She enjoys running and has competed in half marathons, both here in the UK and Qatar. After school, she went to university, and during that time, amongst other things, developed a love of travelling, as well as getting a degree. You'll have seen the map in the foyer of the world marked with places that she and Patrick have been to, and seeking suggestions of new places for them to go. Fortunately, I believe Patrick also has the wanderlust, so I'm sure we'll be seeing many more photographs of them, both in exotic places in the years to come. During her teenage years, she also had a passion for looking after and riding horses. There have been many, many times when she's asked me to buy her a horse. Having no money, it was easy for me to say no. But I know she still hankers after one. So, Patrick, I'm more than happy to pass the reins. I have to say that Marie and I are very proud of Chloe and all that she's achieved. I'm sure she would have liked to have had a sister to talk to, but with so many good friends, I'm sure that's made up for it. I've never been more proud than when I walked her down the aisle. And I'm sure Marie, well, I know Marie found it very emotional as well. So I'd like to formally welcome Patrick to our family. He's fitted in seamlessly with all of us, and he has struck me as having the qualities which complement Chloe, and that he truly loves and cares deeply for her, which has reassured Marie and I that they will have a very long and happy marriage together. There was one blot on the landscape, however. When Chloe told me that Patrick was a Red, I did assume he was a Liverpool supporter, like myself. Sadly, that was not the case. Although, to make me feel better, Chloe told me that she told Patrick that she was also a Liverpool supporter. Like I said, she's a daddy's girl. In fact, I was surprised there was nothing in the vows specifying the children would be brought up Liverpool supporters. But I'm assuming that that's in the prenup. So, with no further ado, I'd like you to raise your glasses and toast the bride and groom.
Come on then.
Good start. Thank you. I'm going to be saying a lot of thank yous throughout this speech. So if you want to have a drink every time you hear the words, you're lucky that there's plenty of money behind the bar. Just don't drink the cocktails, as they're expensive. Firstly, thank you, Paul, for your kind words. It would mean a lot more if you didn't support Liverpool. In all seriousness, thank you for everything you and Marie have done for Chloe and I. You really have made me feel welcome as part of your family. You have been great parents to Chloe, James, Liam and Daniel, and great in-laws already to me. If you could let me know your secret in how to conceive 3 boys, that would be... For those of you who don't know, in Qatar, an Islamic marriage, in Qatar and an Islamic marriage, a dowry is exchanged between the groom and the father of the groom. Usually this is money, but it can be jewellery, land, property, camels, or a gift. As I'm a bit hard up for cash because of the wedding, and do not own any camels, Paul has been given a large piece of Manchester United memorabilia. Please raise your glasses to Paul and Marie. And I'll have get that reimbursed. Now to my parents. I cannot begin to articulate how thankful I am to you both for the upbringing you gave me. You gave me one of the best starts in life, and I'm incredibly lucky to have you both as my parents. Thank you for everything that you have ever done for me. To my mum and dad, Caroline and Adrian, please raise a glass.
Caroline! 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 Caroline!
I would also like to put on record my apologies for failing my 11 plus and subsequently my 13 plus, which I think cost you quite a significant amount of money, as you then had to send me to private school. Luckily, my wife is an English teacher. The weekly spelling, punctuation, and grammar lessons are paying off. Speaking of education, I'm sure you, Mum and Dad, couldn't have imagined me becoming a teacher after what happened to me on the first day of school. My parents dropped me off, and after saying my name, the teacher heard the surname Temple, and assumed that as my sister, who was already at the school, was bright, I would be placed in the top class at the start of the corridor. Needless to say, when my parents returned to pick me up, I was a lot lower down the corridor. Also at the lower end of the corridor was my oldest friend, Matthew Body. How we formed our friendship, I'm not so sure, as neither of us could put a sentence together. The name Matthew does make the stag party cringe somewhat. Not because of what he did to us that weekend, sorry. Let me explain to everyone who wasn't there. The stag party lost a significant amount of money on a horse called Matthew Flinders. Why we believed that a random, drunk stranger at 3 AM decided and in London, and something I will always remember. Nick and I formed a friendship instantly when after first meeting at school we discovered that we were born on the same day. Whether this is actually true, I'm still not entirely sure, because I haven't seen the birth certificate. We have been to many sports events together and spent loads of times abroad, including Münster in Germany and Denver in the States. Dryden organised a lovely evening last night for the groomsmen. He's been a great master of ceremony. He's a fantastic human being and a great friend, and I've loved all of our travelling adventures together, including island hopping in Croatia and a very romantic getaway in Slovenia. Ollie provided a lovely reading from The Heart earlier and the Manchester United Chronicle, which meant a lot to Chloe and I, as we have spent plenty of time at his and Kirsty's house in Devon, as well as Ollie and I going on a great trip to Scandinavia. Thanks for being a great friend. And lastly, Rob, who is due to embarrass me very shortly with his speech. You've been a brilliant friend over the years, and it's been great to see you become the captain of Finley Football Club, who are in the very prestigious 14th tier of English football.
Hey!
I think they've just stopped smoking cigarettes at half time, so maybe they'll get promoted this year. In all seriousness, you guys have really helped shape me and give me some fantastic memories and laughs and jokes in my life so far. Long may that continue, and thanks for all your help over the wedding. Cheers.
Go, Paddy!
Okay, here's the emotional bit. You had 5 minutes. Now to my wonderful wife, Mrs. Chloe Temple.
Go on, Brooksy.
Chloe has planned the entire wedding. And I was under strict instructions not to say this, in case something went wrong. So, if something has gone wrong, I was responsible for it. Working together at a school, moving abroad, and spending a large part of the last 18 months together in lockdown, without being able to go outdoors in Qatar, could test a relationship. Luckily, it was barely even a test, which shows how strong our relationship is. Coming back from England at Christmas and having to quarantine in a small hotel room without leaving for a whole week was actually one of the funniest weeks we've had together, which shows just how well we get along. We rarely argue or bicker, apart from when I'm right. And I've been through many stressful situations, such as Chloe driving to the wrong London airport before a flight, and me losing my passport and wallet in Mallorca on the first day and only getting it back 10 days later, about 4 hours before the flight. In these situations, thankfully, we tend to see the funny side. One of the many things I love about Chloe is how I can be myself around her, apart from when she corrects me about my grammar, or lack of it. My grasp of the English language isn't quite the same as Chloe's, so I hope what I'm about to say from the heart is articulated well and grammatically correct. Chloe, I love you so much, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. I hope we grow old together, and in good health, and I can't wait to start a family with you. Please raise the glass. Sorry. Speech without crying. So. Okay. I hope all of you had a great day so far and are looking forward to the evening ahead. On behalf of Chloe and I, thanks for all the arrangements you made to be here, especially on Monday. And what a way to spend a Monday, by the way. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Cheers.
Right, so good afternoon. My name is Robert Howe and I'm one of the groomsmen. I've been given the honour of squeezing in as many embarrassing stories about Patrick Temple as I can within the next 5 minutes. As you'll see down the end there, my beautiful wife Melody is going to be flicking through some slides. So please glance that way, back to me as you please. So myself and Patrick, aka Paddy, first started playing football for Preston Gore Club at the age of 9. Neither of us knew at the time that 21 years later, Paddy had been marrying someone as beautiful as Chloe Broxer. Or should I say, Chloe Temple. At the age of 11, Paddy joined myself at Borough Lawn School in Milton Keynes. This was a complete surprise to me at the time, so when I saw Paddy in the corridor from my classroom, I sat up in my chair, smiling and waving like a fangirl at a Justin Bieber concert. Pat, being the cool customer that he is, did his best to ignore his #1 fan. From that day forward, he's never been able to get rid of me. As we have worked our way up through the years, Paddy's fun, loving, charming personality came out, which meant he was always trying it on with the ladies. At our peak, we'd be working the dance floors in Milton Keynes and Buckingham on a weekly basis. You would have thought a potential Calvin Klein model would have been a smash hit, but instead we would always end up in a kebab shop before making a long walk home talking about what could have been. Paddy's teaching career came as a surprise to many of us. How can this man that can barely look after his own passport be allowed to look after a classroom of kids? Patrick has proven himself to be a brilliant teacher. His passion for sport is second to none, and his fun and loving attitude transfers over to the children. I'm sure for years to come he'll be inspiring students to support Man United and to enjoy a good ale when they're old enough. Whilst I'm on the subject of passports, it's not the first time you've heard of this, Paddy's previous form for losing his back in 2010. Paddy and Nick went on myself, Paddy and Nick went on an all-inclusive holiday to Corfu with some other friends from school. On arrival, we weren't allowed in our rooms, so we did the sensible thing and took refuge at the main bar, where we spent our evening. Come the morning, we were all trying to piece together the night before. One part of the puzzle we couldn't work out was where Paddy misplaced his passport and wallet. After the turning of the room and what felt like the hotel upside down, we had all but given up. Then, our knight in shining armour had arrived, which turned out to be the bloke with a bucket and pool brush. Luckily, he found a passport and wallet at the bottom of the bin by the side of the pool. Paddy then remembered in his previous drunken state that this was the safest place he could think of putting them. As most of you know, Patrick met Chloe at St Thomas Fremantle School. He would always chat about his beautiful English teacher. Fortunately, she left before Chloe turned up. Of course, I'm only messing. Chloe is perfect for Patrick. She's funny, sporty, caring, and most importantly, she's happy to be dragged to Qatar so Paddy can watch the Football World Cup next year. Good job, mate. A timeless classic from the Patrick and Chloe archive has to come from New Year's Eve 2016, which was spent in the village hall. Before the red carpet, we had smashed copious amounts of alcohol just to make sure we were nicely tipsy. As you would expect from a top do at any village hall, the spread of food was very good. So much so that Chloe couldn't resist the temptation of diving in. What we didn't know at this point was Chloe had a bit of a sweet tooth. One of the elderly residents politely pointed out that Chloe was licking the icing off the fairy cakes and putting them back again. It was safe to say that was the end of Chloe's evening. Patrick would always refer to his 5-year plan whenever we hit a deep and meaningful conversation. Over the years, this has changed from meeting a stripper in Las Vegas to having a civil partnership with Wayne Rooney. to eventually meeting a beautiful woman who would live by his side and travel the world, exploring all the amazing places it has to offer. I'm so happy that this legend of a man has been able to make his dream become a reality. This has been an absolute pleasure to do this speech and to be a part of both of your journeys so far. I can't wait to see how the next 5-year plan works out. Can we do a toast, please, to Mr. and Mrs. Temple?
Come on,